Okay, so you're getting ready for a residential care home worker interview.
Sounds like you're ready to make a difference.
Absolutely. A role all about compassion and empathy and really impacting people's lives. We've got all these great resources from RoleCatcher today.
Yep.
Career guides, interview guides, even some cool insights into their AI tools.
I'm excited to dive into those AI tools a bit later.
Me too. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
But let's, take it step by step.
Yeah.
First, paint that picture.
Yeah.
What does a residential care home worker actually do?
Right.
We'll go beyond just the everyday tasks using this career guide from RoleCatcher.
It's a really comprehensive guide, and it really emphasizes that client-focused environment. It's not just about, checking things off a list. It's about making people feel valued, respected.
Yeah.
Really supported.
And I like how it, doesn't shy away from, both sides of the coin.
Right.
What are the rewarding aspects? What are some of the challenges?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of reward in, making a difference in people's lives.
Right.
Also, that sense of job security that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
But on the flip side, it can be demanding work.
Right.
Emotionally, physically, sometimes long hours, unconventional hours.
So you really have to be prepared.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit.
Yep.
Talk about your skills.
Okay.
Your experiences.
Mm-hmm.
The career guide mentions some essential skills: active listening, customer and personal service.
Mm-hmm.
How do we make those buzzwords come to life?
Right. Well, this is where your experiences become really important. Think back to times where, you had to de-escalate a tense situation with a customer.
Right.
That's active listening in action.
Right.
Or maybe you went above and beyond to make someone feel comfortable, cared for.
Yeah.
That's customer and personal service shining through.
I like that. Okay, so now let's get to I feel like the meat of interview prep.
Yeah.
Those interview questions. The interview guide is a gold mine.
It is a gold mine. And remember, it's not about, memorizing these perfect answers.
Right.
It's about understanding what those interviewers are really looking for and tailoring your responses
Okay.
to show that you are genuinely a good fit for this role.
All right, let's jump in. Question number 1.
Okay.
Can you tell us about your experience working with elderly or vulnerable individuals?
Right.
Sounds pretty straightforward, but I'm sure there's some nuance here.
There's absolutely some nuance. They want to know more than just, a list of jobs or volunteer roles.
Right.
They want to know the depth of your experience. Have you worked directly with this population? What kind of challenges did you encounter? How did you navigate those? This is your chance to showcase, your empathy, your patience,
Right.
your ability to connect with people who may have complex needs.
So really painting that picture and demonstrating that understanding of those dynamics.
Exactly. And, think about those follow-up questions, too.
Oh, yeah.
They might ask you to, elaborate on a specific situation, how you handled a difficult resident.
Mm-hmm.
So really think about those potential follow-ups in advance.
Right.
So you're not caught off guard.
Be prepared. All right, let's move on. Question number 2. How do you handle challenging behaviors or situations with residents?
That one can feel a bit like a minefield.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
What are they looking for there?
Well, they want to see that you can remain calm, patient, professional,
Right.
even when things get a little bit challenging.
Right.
They want to know, how do you de-escalate situations?
Mm-hmm.
How do you keep everyone safe?
Okay, so how would you approach this if you were asked this question?
I would focus on my problem-solving skills, describe a specific time
Right.
where I successfully managed a challenging behavior, highlight my communication skills, understanding that resident's perspective,
Right.
and finding those solutions that really address the underlying needs.
So instead of just saying, oh, I'm good at handling difficult situations, you're giving an example of when you did it.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And, be ready for that follow-up, too.
Oh, yeah.
What would you do if a resident became verbally or physically aggressive?
That's a tough one.
It is a tough one. But you want to demonstrate your knowledge of those safety protocols, your commitment to those nonviolent intervention techniques,
Right.
and explain how you would prioritize safety-seek assistance from colleagues, document everything appropriately.
That makes sense. Okay, so we're getting into the nitty-gritty here.
We are.
This is good. Okay, so let's look at question number 3. How do you ensure that residents receive high-quality care and support? Seems like a pretty broad one.
It is a broad one, but it's really about, showcasing your understanding of those best practices
Okay.
in residential care.
So how do we make our answers stand out there?
Well, I would emphasize, that commitment to person-centered care.
Okay.
Explain how I assess individual needs, develop care plans, involve residents in those decision-making processes.
Okay.
You can also discuss, your knowledge of relevant regulations, standards.
Mm-hmm.
You know how you ensure compliance.
So really showcasing that deep understanding of those ethical and professional standards.
Exactly. And be ready for those follow-ups, too.
Of course.
They might ask you to give a specific example
Right.
of how you've implemented a care plan or addressed a resident's unique needs.
Yeah, always be prepared to back it up with those concrete examples. Okay, question number 4. We're moving right along.
Yeah.
How do you communicate with family members or other caregivers about residents' care and progress?
Yeah, that's a big one.
It is a big one. Building that trust and rapport with family members.
It's crucial.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They want to see that you understand the importance of, clear, compassionate,
Right.
timely communication. They want to know you can build those positive relationships
Mm-hmm.
and address those concerns effectively.
So what are some key points to hit when answering this one?
I would start by, emphasizing my commitment to open and honest communication.
Okay.
Explain how I would keep families informed about their loved one's care.
Yep.
Both the positive developments and, any challenges that arise.
Yeah.
Discuss my approach to handling, sensitive conversations.
Yeah. Right.
Addressing difficult questions.
And I imagine active listening plays a big role here, too.
It plays a huge role. Active listening is essential in all aspects of this role.
Okay.
But especially when you're communicating with families who are often feeling anxious,
Of course.
vulnerable, it's about demonstrating empathy, understanding, even when you're conveying difficult information.
Okay. So we've covered communication with families. Let's talk about a topic that can be a bit, more sensitive.
Yeah.
End-of-life care. Question number 5. How do you approach end-of-life care for residents? This one can feel a little heavy.
It can. It's an important one, though.
Absolutely.
End-of-life care is a significant part of working in a residential care home.
So how can we approach this topic in a way that, sensitive but informative?
I would start by acknowledging, the gravity of the situation.
Okay.
Explain that, I understand the importance of providing that compassionate and dignified care
Right.
to residents who are nearing the end of their lives.
Mhm.
Discuss my experience, any training I've received,
Right.
and my commitment to respecting residents' wishes.
Right. And their preferences. And what about the emotional aspect of this?
Oh, it is challenging,
It must be.
but it's an incredibly important part of the job.
Right.
They'll want to see that you have that, emotional maturity, resilience to handle these situations.
Right.
Maybe even share a brief but impactful personal anecdote that demonstrates your sensitivity,
Right.
your strength in these situations.
Okay, so we've tackled some pretty, weighty questions.
We have.
Let's move on to number 6. Can you describe a time when you had to advocate for residents' rights or needs? This one feels a little empowering.
It is a powerful question, and it gets to the heart of, what it means to be a compassionate,
Right.
ethical care provider.
Standing up for those who can't stand up for themselves.
Exactly. They want to see that you're not afraid to speak up for your residents, even when it's difficult.
So how do we answer this one?
Choose a specific example
Okay.
where you advocated for a resident's needs or rights.
Mm,
Explain the situation,
mm,
the steps I took,
mm.
and the positive outcome I achieved.
So again, you're demonstrating, your willingness to go the extra mile.
Exactly.
You're a strong advocate.
Absolutely.
Okay, question number 7. How do you manage your time and prioritize tasks in a fast-paced environment? This one's applicable to any job, really.
It's a crucial skill in this role.
Right.
They want to see, that you can stay organized.
Absolutely.
You can prioritize effectively, remain calm under pressure.
Yeah. And I imagine in this setting, things are changing constantly.
Oh, they are.
So how do we answer this in a way that highlights, our skills?
Well, describe your specific approach to, time management and task prioritization. Do you use to-do lists, scheduling apps?
Right.
Explain how you assess the urgency of tasks,
Mm-hmm.
delegate responsibilities if appropriate, and ensure that everything gets done.
Right. And again, concrete examples, when faced with X and Y, I did Z.
Specific examples
Perfect.
make your answers stronger.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's move on. Question number 8. How do you ensure that residents receive culturally competent care? This is a big one and an increasingly important topic.
Absolutely. As our communities become more diverse,
Right.
it's essential.
So how do we demonstrate that in an interview?
We'll start by, explaining what cultural competence means to me.
Okay.
Discuss my experience working with individuals from diverse backgrounds, any training I've received.
Right.
In cultural sensitivity, my commitment to providing care that respects individual beliefs and practices.
And this seems like another opportunity to share those, personal anecdotes or experiences.
It is.
Right.
Personal stories can really bring your answers to life, make them more memorable.
Okay. Question number 9, our final one for this deep dive.
Yeah, okay.
How do you ensure that residents' privacy and confidentiality are respected? All about professionalism, ethical conduct.
Absolutely.
Confidentiality is so huge.
It's a huge deal.
So how do we best showcase that understanding?
Start by, explaining my knowledge of privacy and confidentiality laws and regulations.
Okay.
Then, discuss how I apply those principles in my work.
Like being discreet.
Exactly. Being discreet, securing personal belongings, respecting residents' personal space.
And what about those tricky situations where, family members might be pushing for information?
That's a great question.
How do we handle those gracefully and professionally?
And that leads us perfectly into a discussion of, RoleCatcher's AI tools and how they can help you craft those perfect, nuanced answers.
Okay, color me intrigued.
But first, let's take a quick break.
Sounds good.
Those tricky situations where families are asking for information? That's where RoleCatcher's AI can really be helpful.
Okay, so tell me more about this AI magic. How can it help us with those tricky situations?
So imagine you're prepping for this interview, right? You've got these questions. You want to practice your answers. RoleCatcher's AI not only gives you those sample questions and answers,
Okay.
but it actually analyzes what you're saying.
Wow.
It can identify potential weaknesses and suggest improvements tailored to this specific job.
So it's like having a personalized coach.
Exactly.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, so for example, that question about family inquiries and confidentiality. The AI can guide you in how you frame your response.
Oh.
How do you demonstrate your understanding of those regulations?
Right.
But also convey empathy and, a commitment to communication with families.
So you're finding that sweet spot where, you're professional but also compassionate.
Right. Exactly. And the AI can help you, find that sweet spot and make sure your answers are both accurate and engaging.
This is really cool. I mean, it sounds like this tool could be a game changer for anyone getting ready for this kind of interview.
It really can be. And it's not just about answering questions.
Okay.
RoleCatcher's AI can help you refine your CV, identify skills gaps, even get feedback on your overall interview performance.
Wow. So RoleCatcher really is like a one-stop shop for interview prep with this incredible AI layer.
It is.
But let's zoom out for a sec. You ace the interview. What's next? What does a career in this field actually look like?
Right, because acing that interview is just the first step. You want to envision yourself within the bigger picture of this career path.
And the RoleCatcher Career Guide lays it all out, from care assistant to care home manager, all these different stages.
Exactly. So, think about, where do you see yourself fitting in?
Yeah.
How can you articulate your career goals during the interview in a way that resonates, shows that ambition, that commitment to growth?
So you want to express that desire to learn and grow, but not be like over the top.
Right. It's a delicate balance.
So how do we do that?
Well, I would frame those aspirations in a way that benefits the organization.
Okay.
For example, I'm excited to learn from experienced professionals here and eventually take on more responsibility to be due to the success of this facility.
So you're highlighting your ambition, but also emphasizing your dedication to their goals.
Exactly.
I like it. And, speaking of growth, let's circle back to those essential skills we talked about.
Yeah.
Active listening, customer, and personal service. How do those play a role in a successful career path?
Well, they're really foundational.
Right.
And they become even more important as you move through those different career stages.
So active listening isn't just about acing the interview.
Right.
It's about being good at your job.
It's about being great at your job.
Yeah.
Whether you're interacting with residents and families, colleagues,
Yeah.
that ability to truly listen, understand,
Right.
it's essential.
For everything, really.
For everything.
Yeah. Building trust, resolving conflict, creating that positive environment.
And as you move into those leadership roles, active listening becomes even more crucial.
Because you have to be able to listen to your team.
Absolutely.
Understand their concerns.
Yeah.
Be a good leader.
Exactly.
Okay, so what about customer and personal service? How does that evolve as you go up that ladder?
Well, it kind of shifts from, directly providing care
Okay.
to fostering that culture of client-centeredness throughout the
So
facility.
it's like empowering your team to
Yes.
provide that same high-quality care.
Exactly. Leading by example.
Right.
Creating a workplace where everyone feels valued, respected.
So this deep dive has been so insightful. We've explored this role in detail. We've unpacked those interview questions.
Yeah.
Even talked about career growth.
The evolving landscape.
But before we wrap up, let's just, zoom out for a minute.
I like that zoom out to the big picture.
Yeah, and remember, this is about more than just prepping for an interview.
Right.
This is about potentially stepping into a career where you can genuinely impact lives.
It's powerful work.
It is really powerful work.
Yeah.
And the career guide, keeps emphasizing that client-focused environment.
Mm-hmm.
And it really is the heart of what makes this job so rewarding.
It's not just about, going through the motions.
Right.
It's about connecting with those residents, understanding their needs, their values, even those unspoken desires.
So as you go into that interview,
Yeah.
remember, it's not just about reciting answers. It's about showcasing your passion, your insights, your perspective on what it means to create that truly client-focused environment.
And don't forget about, the evolving landscape of this field.
Right. We talked about technology a bit, but things like electronic health records, telehealth are really changing the game.
Right. There are just two examples.
From the career guide.
But the key takeaway is this field is changing constantly.
Yeah.
And being able to adapt, embrace new technology is crucial.
Absolutely. So during your interview, you could even talk about how you've used technology in previous roles.
Right.
To, improve efficiency or provide better service.
Exactly. Showing that you're, tech savvy and ready to adapt will make you stand out.
That's a great tip. Okay, so to our listener, getting ready for this interview, remember, this is more than just a job.
It's a journey.
It's a journey of, learning and growth.
Absolutely.
Where you can make a real difference.
Embrace those challenges, stay curious, and never lose sight of that human connection.
Beautifully said. I think we've given our listener, a ton of insights and strategies to approach this interview with confidence.
I agree. They're ready to showcase their passion, their skills.
Your dedication.
Absolutely.
It's been great diving deep with you as always.
The pleasure was all mine.
And to our listener, best of luck. We're rooting for you.
Yeah, it really does make you think, how can we blend those strengths with, all these new tools and really create something special? Right. And the career guide touches on this too. It highlights all these technological advancements that are shaping this field.
Like we mentioned, electronic health records and telehealth. But let's dig a little deeper. How are these actually impacting the day-to-day work of a residential care home worker?
Well, they're really streamlining a lot of those, everyday processes.
Okay.
Which ultimately frees up more time for, those meaningful interactions with residents.
Right, because you're not bogged down with paperwork.
Exactly. So electronic health records, they ensure accurate medication, they improve communication, you can track progress better.
Right.
It just creates more efficiency, which means more personalized attention and care.
Right. And telehealth, like we talked about, can be so helpful for residents who, can't easily get out to see specialists.
Absolutely brings those services to them. Less stress, less disruption.
And then there's, assistive technologies.
Oh, yeah.
Which I feel like are becoming increasingly important.
They are.
Helping residents maintain their independence.
Right. It's all about empowering residents to participate in their own lives.
It really sounds like technology is a crucial part of creating that, client-focused environment.
It truly is. And that's why it's so important to be aware of these trends. Show that you're willing to embrace technology. During the interview, you could even mention, hey, I've used technology in previous roles to improve things.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Show that you're, tech savvy, ready to adapt.
Absolutely. And remember, that commitment to learning it doesn't stop once you get the job.
Right.
This field is always changing. The best caregivers are the ones who are always learning.
So to our listener, getting ready for that interview, this is more than just prepping for a job.
It's a journey of continuous learning.
And a chance to make a real difference.
Embrace those challenges, stay curious, and never lose sight of that human connection.
So well said. I think we've given our listeners some really great insights and strategies to approach this interview with confidence.
I agree. They're ready to go in there and showcase their passion, their skills, their commitment to that client-focused care.
Couldn't agree more.
Oh.
Well, it's been a pleasure diving deep with you as always.
The pleasure was all mine.
And to our listener, best of luck with your interview. We're so excited for you.